this is Melindy from Paris Living. I hope that everyone is well and coping with the ongoing situation. It's been very complicated and difficult to try to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but try to stay optimistic. For anyone who follows the news in France, our borders are closed. Unless you have what they call motifs impériaux, which means a very, very important reason to come to France, like some family emergency or professional reasons, but they have to be like quite important. So just a quick update on the property market here. It's actually chugging along. It's almost spring, believe it or not, on the 21st. And so we have the normal trend of an increase in inventory, people putting their property on the market. The usual idea here is that you buy in the spring, do renovations over the summer, and then you're ready for back to school. So things seem to be following that usual seasonal trend. But there's not as much as there would be in a normal year. I think that a lot of people are waiting for at least a little bit more certainty about when the borders are going to open. Because most of the time, when someone sells their property, they're liquidating that asset for a reason. Maybe they're going to take the cash and put it into a retirement account. But a lot of the time they're going to put it into another property. And, you know, France is surrounded by other countries who are lucky enough to have that. And so, for example, if a French family wanted to have a house on the border of the Pyrenees in Spain, they wouldn't be able to do that right now because of the restrictions. Going to buy a house in Spain is not a motif impériaux. So I think that a lot of sellers are a bit reticent to put their property on the market right now when we don't know exactly when the borders will be open. They're saying, and when I say they, I mean multiple sources, are about 6 weeks from now. So I think that once we know when the borders will be open, there will be like a lot more on the market that affect prices. Sure, right now prices have pretty much stabilized. At the same time, as has been the case the past 2 years, interest rates are still incredibly low. That just creates demand. So a well laid out, good condition apartment is still going to sell within a week, even up to $1 million or more, 1.2 maybe, will sell in a week. So in a good neighborhood, of course. So the market is very healthy, but once the borders are open, there will definitely be more supply and satisfy the demand, hopefully. And we'll see what happens when we get closer to summer, because it's sort of also a French tradition to not do anything. I mean, go on vacation from July 15th to August 15th. It used to be the whole month of August, and now it's really July 15th to August 15th. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's still a healthy market. Now, for our overseas clients, it's still a good idea to see how much you can qualify to borrow. Get in touch. I'm always happy to do a Zoom session and talk about what you can afford in different neighborhoods based on what you can borrow, and I can put you in touch with a great mortgage broker. It's a long process anyway, real estate acquisition. If you started now, by the time you find something, or we find something, do preliminary due diligence, the notaires do the promesse contract, etc. It takes several months, by which time the borders will definitely be open again, and hopefully a very, very non-negligible section of the population will be vaccinated. So it's never too early to start sort of getting educated and investigating. So don't hesitate to contact us. I also wanted to answer a question that people ask me all the time. Actually, there's two that some people DM me. One is, what's the most beautiful apartment you've ever seen or property? And that's a really hard question because I've seen so many. And I will answer that next time. But the worst one is easy. I went to see a place with a client, and it's in a neighborhood that was on the cusp of being gentrified. So, you know, good investment potential. And the apartment itself was adorable, had, you know, nice hardwood oak floors in, you know, chevron, like point d'Hongrie is what we call it. And wainscoting, fireplace, crown moldings, you name it. It was in good condition, good layout. The building was sort of run-of-the-mill, nice little Parisian building. And the price was good. So we were like, okay, this is not bad. So we left, and standing on the sidewalk, and my client had to run. So she left, and I was talking to the agent. And he said, yeah, listen, I'm really sorry about the police tape. And I said, but I'm sorry, what police tape? And he was like, oh yeah, on the first floor because of the murder. And I thought, I'm sorry, what murder? And he said, yeah, there was a woman who lived at the one-bedroom apartment on the first floor, and she owned all the studios down the hall. And she was a madam. And, I guess when you run with those crowds, you live a life of danger, and someone came and murdered her. So there was police. So it was a crime scene. It was an active crime scene. And in the meantime, all of her apartment and the rest of the studios were being seized. So when I looked through the paperwork, I was looking for a discussion of this matter. It has to be recorded. And they can't just leave that out of the discussions in the annual meetings. And they found some word, the most esoteric word ever, that literally means prostitution, but no one would ever use to talk about prostitution. Also, I think they did not mention the actual murder. In any case, it was just like euphemism to talk about like why all the first floor apartments were being seized. And so when our client came back, it was like, should we put in an offer? We were like, no, there seemed to be some issues legally with the apartment. The fact that there was a madam running a brothel on the first floor is kind of as bad as it gets. You can imagine the people coming in and out of that building. So that's probably the worst one. I can come up with more. But I'll leave you with that. I hope, again, that everyone is coping with the situation, and again, DM me or get in touch. I'd be happy to set up a Zoom and discuss the ins and outs of real estate acquisition in Paris with you anytime. Okay, take care.